What's up? Welcome back. I'm John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and I'm here with a review of Adulthood. I keep getting bamboozled by Republic Pictures, who seem to have stopped making just John Voight movies, and they're starting to attract. I think he had like a deal or something with Republic. There are a lot of Republic movies that had like Charlie Plummer and or Charlie, whatever Charlie that was in like The Painter. I think it was Charlie Plummer and like John Voight. And like there was just like a stable of actors that just seemed to be making a lot of like Republic pictures for a while there, and they were not good. And now I'm starting to see some Republic pictures, and they're attracting like different actors to it. And this has Josh Gad, Kaya Scodelario, um, Anthony Kerrigan, and Billy Lord. And those are sort of the four main cast members of this. It's directed by Alex Winter, and it does have audio description, and it has audio description by somebody who I'm fully aware of, and I guess I'm never going to hear her name ever in a project. I was like, oh, she's going to say it. I'm going to learn her name. Say your name. Um, but there's a narrator that works with probably like the worst two audio description companies. So, and there are no audio description credits on this. So I don't know which company made the audio description for Adulthood. It's not great. They've certainly made, for either one of those companies, I can certainly say that they've made worse audio description, but there were definitely moments. They have a habit of not being able to read a film where there are characters that are talking about something that's clearly visual, but they don't mention it in the audio description. So it's a whole lot of people standing around always looking, going, look at that. Wow, I can't believe. Oh my God, did you see that? And like, no, I didn't, because I'm fucking blind. It's the point of audio description. And they probably more than any other companies, these companies let those moments slide way too often. Um, and it's not even about like, did I get a richness in the character description? Do I know who's in the room at all times? Like sort of the functionality of audio description. There's simply these moments that are just glaring where you're like, they mention they're clearly talking about something being in the room. What is it? What's happening? So I don't think this audio description track is good, but it's certainly, if this was either one of those companies, it would be worse. That being said, I did not like Adulthood. And I was drawn to this through a post that Josh Gad made. I follow some people on social, and he's one of them. Seems like a lovely person. We gotta, us plus size men have to stick together. So I love that one of the only character descriptions you get in this film is that he is like heavy set, like a heavy set man approaches, I think is how he's introduced at the beginning. So I'm like, okay, we gotta point out the fat people, but nobody else gets any sort of depth of description. So Josh Gad is just so fat compared to everyone else in the movie that we have to point out his weight, but not Kaya Scodelario or Anthony Kerrigan or Billy Lord. We're not going to mention that they're skinny or thin or tall or short or anything like that, but we're going to make sure we get in. Josh Gad needs. Okay, so what is Adulthood? um, it starts off. It's a dark comedy. I actually thought Alex Winter had directed Grand Piano, which is another reason why we got excited. I got excited. I don't know about you, about this movie. He wasn't. He was just in it, and I was like, it was so many years ago, and I kind of, I guess, had allowed my brain to assign to him the fact that he had directed that. And while it's not a perfect movie, it shows potential. And if he had been directing things since then, he could have built his way into adulthood, and it could be better. Um, his resume is very well written, by the way, on IMDb. Kudos to his representational team that make him seem like he's a generational talent and a acclaimed filmmaker. Um, you do a lot with very little. So uh, we have a brother sister, Kaya and Josh. Um, Kaya is at home with. She lives at home with her mother, who at the beginning of the film takes a fall, and they have to take her to the hospital. And they're like, "Oh, well, maybe it's time for her to be in a home. She needs care 24/7," which is not great for the home health aide, played by Billy Lord, uh, who in this whole thing, they're going to find out, and this is not a spoiler because if you just look at the plot description, like on IMDb, or if you go to rent it, this is literally the description of the movie. They find a body in the basement. It kind of makes it sound like they find a body at the bottom of the stairs. They find a body in the wall. There's like a massive leak in the basement, and it's going all over Josh Gad's Pokemon cards, and he's like freaking out because he's like, these are worth thousands of dollars, which leads them to notice that there's quite a stench down there, and they notice that the wall is already wet, so it's really easy to sort of tear into the wall, and behind the wall is of course a body. So, oh my god, what happened? And they immediately piece it together. There's like no thought process here. This is one of the reasons. This is immediately when I thought to myself, oh god, I'm not going to like this movie. Because up until this point, it had promise. Like, we were just doing some setup, the mom had fallen. I didn't know where this film was going to go. I felt like it could go off the rails. But man, these two put it together like they are, like they need a TV show, like like a detective agency thing where they're like, we solved the crime, we know exactly what it is. We've pieced it together, we know immediately who, why, when, and where. I mean, like, I think they're still standing there. I think like the body falls out of the wall and they're like, oh my god, what happened? Well, you remember that one time when we I'm like, Jesus Christ. So this film wastes no time in getting to the what must have happened of it all, which I think would have been far more interesting to actually have to discover that and actually spend time in the movie. I don't really understand the choice to not do that, to just be like, well, fuck it, that's not interesting. It's not interesting to find out your parents were keeping a body in the basement wall, which, by the way, they revealed was like their fun room. Like, that was the room where the kids would go out to hang out. So that's where the couch was. She lost her virginity down there. Um, like all that kind of stuff that they list. It's like, I think that's way more interesting. Their dad's dead. They have this mom that I think, is at least has some dementia problems. We don't really see her on screen, but it's alluded to the fact that perhaps she doesn't always know what's going on. I'm sure you could eke it out of her, though. So there just really isn't really an effort to have them investigate. And immediately they start, and they're like, well, we should we call the cops? Oh, we can't call the cops because that family would sue us and then we'd lose the house. So, like, they're answering all of the questions that would actually be interesting so they can get to the plot, which is not interesting. It's the fact that Billy Lord, who plays the nurse, finds out about this and decides to blackmail them. She's like, well, if you don't pay me money, I will call the cops. What? So that's kind of the movie, and that's the dark comedy aspect of it, is that they spend the movie kind of worried about being blackmailed because someone else knows about the body in the basement and wants them to pay up, and was tired of doing her job, which was home health aide, and thinks that the daughter is like privileged or something to be able to have a home health aide. And it's like, but if people weren't doing that, you wouldn't have a job. I don't understand this movie. Alex Winter needs to call me and we need to have a conversation because I don't understand the messaging. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think it worked as a dark comedy. I don't think it worked as a horror movie. I don't think it worked as a thriller. I don't think it works as a suspense movie. I don't understand why Josh Gad is promoting this movie. Has he seen his own movie? Like, this movie is not good. It's a hot mess. It really has nothing to say because every time it gets to something interesting, it immediately goes in the other direction. It immediately answers the question and summarizes it so you don't actually get to, uncover that part of that mystery. It's like, well, why is it that way? Well, it's that way because of this. Now let's go back to this other part, which is not really that interesting. Like, we spend so much time with the least interesting part of the film that we never get to uncover any of the mystery of how a body got in the wall. Like, the far more interesting story here is two kids finding out their parents killed somebody and put them in a wall. I don't even need Billy Lord's character here. Like, the whole thing is really stupid. Her character should be in here for like 10 minutes tops. Like, this should be an investigation of how did we come to this? What were our parents into? And like spiraling out of control from that moment, and them trying to figure out and actually going through the timeline of when this happened, and all those kind of things, instead of, I guess, immediately recognizing a body that's been decaying in their wall for like generations. Like, I don't understand this. This makes no sense to me. So I had a really hard time with Adulthood. Now I understand why it's being released by Republic Pictures. It's not a good movie. Avoid it. And I'm sorry, like, if you are related to this film in any way, seriously, have you seen your own movie? At what point did you not say, isn't that the interesting thing? Isn't that the... Shouldn't we discuss that? Why are we immediately answering all these questions? Why aren't we discovering these things? Why aren't we pulling at these threads? Why are we immediately giving these answers to the audience? Like, it's the world's least interesting version of those detective stories. That was the gag that I was talking about, is because immediately they walk into the room and they know everything. So, like, you wouldn't be able to run a TV series like that because it would never last for 30 minutes or even an hour. They'd be like, oh God, well, Josh Gad and Kaya Scavario are here, so they'll immediately tell us how we got to this point. And then I guess we'll spend the next hour dealing with something else, which is far less interesting than the actual whodunit. I don't get it. I don't understand the film. Anthony Carrigan comes in here as a cousin. He's utilized, and having just seen what he brought to, like, Twisted Metal for Peacock, like, they don't really utilize Anthony Carrigan at full level here. He just kind of plays this cousin who doesn't really... He needed to be more over the top, because that's kind of why you hire Anthony Carrigan, is because he has so much potential and range as an actor. Even if you don't like it, like, I never liked him on Barry. I know it's a hot take. I thought he was obnoxious on Barry all the way up until the final season, when they actually kind of give his character a little bit of depth. And it gets like shit gets real because the characters are all expendable because the series wasn't going forward. So then he starts to get a little bit more range in his character, and I was like, okay, well, now I see more. But everything else I've enjoyed Kerrigan in after that has been pretty solid, and I understand why he's sort of like a utility tool as an actor. I don't even think he's used well here. Billy Lord is okay, but I don't think she even needed to really be in the movie for more than 5 minutes, and that's nothing because of her own acting or presence or anything. It's just that her character was the least interesting way to take this movie. It'd be like doing Jurassic Park and then making it about, I don't know, the one ride that didn't have dinosaurs, and then like not going back to the dinosaurs, and they're like, oh God, but this roller coaster over here keeps breaking down. And they spend the whole movie talking about a roller coaster that has no dinosaurs on it. Just like, what about the dinosaurs? So, I wanted to like this. I can't though. Like, this is um Josh Gad. I've been compared to him in terms of my humor slash look, whatever. I don't know. He's one of the few celebrities that people go, you remind me of blank. I get Seth Rogen the most, and then I've gotten Josh Gad before, not super frequently, but from people who just are trying to find a fat actor who to compare me to. They're just like, I don't know, you remind me of Biggie. Do I? I don't know. Like, is that the only fat person that you know? Like, so, um, adulthood. I just think it was like the least interesting way to tell this story. Yes, I've seen worse movies this year. There's a difference between sort of being like uninteresting and kind of dull and lifeless, and then just being straight up bad and like having bad performances with really bad direction, bad editing. Like, there's nothing good I can say about it. Here, I think the actors were trying to do something. Uh, I think Josh Gad is trying to do something here. I don't really have a problem with Billy Lord's performance. It's not that Kerrigan is bad. He's just sort of not really being given the kind of direction that he could to like help this movie along. And I do like the fact that Kaya is getting more stuff to do. It's more of a lead role for her. So, I mean, there's like positives here. It's a cool setup, but Alex just doesn't do anything with it. So, yeah, I know why Paramount did this to in a wide theatrical release and was like, well, this is a Republic picture. I'm gonna send this straight to VOD. So, I'm giving this a 4.9 out of 10. It's rotten. I'm sorry. I don't know why I'm apologizing, but I guess I'm sorry to Josh Gad, who, again, I saw his post and he was so stoked. He's like, guys, we worked really hard on this. Really want you to see Adulthood. And I know they want us to see like all their projects, but there are occasionally you see an actor who doesn't promote a project. I think it's because they know. So, Josh, you should have known. Watch your own movie. Like, please watch your own movie. Um, yeah. And I think I follow Alex Winter too, and I think but that makes more sense to me because directors are almost oblivious to the work that they put out. Unless it's like studio interference and you hear a lot about it coming out of their thing that the studio went in and like recut the film, then you hear about it. Otherwise, they're like, yeah, we're good. What are you talking about? This movie's excellent. And then when they're like, well, you're stupid for not liking my movie. So I fully expect Alex Winter to tell me that his movie is like drops of God, but uh, it's not. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And I will see you guys on the other side.